Jews love to ask questions, and why not? It's a Jewish pastime. The Talmud is replete with questions. But the most famous question in Jewish circles, in traditional Jewish circles, arguably, is the one about Chanukah. Why we observe Chanukah for 8 nights and not 7. Why should it be 7? Because the miracle of Chanukah, we all know, is that they found a lone cruse of oil that sufficed for 1 night, and it lasted miraculously for 8. Well, that's a net gain of 7. The first night, they did have enough oil. And there are many, many answers to this question. Hundreds of answers have been given. And it seems that there's a certain obsession with this question that people are looking for new answers. Among the traditional answers are that the first night we're observing the miracle of the defeat of the Syrian Greeks. That was a miraculous war. Or the fact that we found the cruse of oil. Or that we divided the oil into 8 parts, and each part would be only enough to last a little fraction of the night, and instead it lit all night, every single one of the 8 nights. So they saw the miracle every night. Some say that it was actually a delayed observance of the holiday of Sukkot. Because they couldn't observe Sukkot, they were engaged in battle, so they wanted to make a holiday that would replace Sukkot. Some say the ban that the Greeks had in place against circumcision really troubled the Jewish people terribly, so they wanted a holiday that would remind them of the victory of circumcision, which is at 8 days, and many hundreds of other answers that were given. Some say it's the fact that they found the cruse of oil itself was a miracle, but that someone put it away for this occasion, it would seem, was a miracle, and so many other answers. But I have a question on the question. Yes, there can be many answers, but why is there such an obsession with this question? It's not the most important issue in the world, and even if we didn't have all the answers, we'd say, so what? They made an extra day because it started one day and it ended another day, so the fact that the first day was not a miracle, big deal. It's not the most urgent question. Why is there such an obsession with it? And it occurred to me that underlying the question, whichever way it's formulated, is a much deeper existential question. It's a question that we're all asking. Some of us ask it overtly, and some of us, and all of us, ask the question subliminally, subconsciously. It's in our gut, this question. The whole holiday of Chanukah brought us as close to the Messianic age as one could imagine. We had the Beis HaMikdash rededicated, cleansed and purified. We had independence. The Rambam writes the difference between the Messianic age and the way things are today is that we're no longer going to be subservient to the nations. Well, that happened during the Chanukah miracle. We were now free, not under the yoke of a foreign power. So we had everything that the Messianic age called for, but we blew it. There was one thing that was missing. We didn't appoint a descendant of King David to be the king, to be the leader, which would make him the Mashiach. You can't have redemption without Mashiach in Judaism. The Rambam makes it very clear that it's not just to believe in a Messianic age, but we have to believe that Mashiach will usher in this Messianic age. And if that's missing, then what happened eventually? The Chanukah miracle degenerated. The Chashmonaim became Sadducees. They invited the Romans, and to make a long story short, that led ultimately to the destruction of the Second Temple and the 2,000-year exile that persists to this day. So we're all asking the question, why are we still in exile? Because we're still connected to the number 7. 7 is the cycle of nature. 7, even the Shabbos, is part of a system that has its flaws and weaknesses. And that's why we need the number 8. The number 8 transcends the system and repairs the breaches and the things that are broken in the system. The Amidah, the prayer that we recite 3 times every day, in which we ask God, every weekday, in which we ask God for all our needs. We ask God for health, healing in the eighth blessing. Why the eighth? The Talmud says because circumcision needs healing and circumcision occurs on the eighth day. But what is the deeper understanding of that? Health deficits are created because we're living in an imperfect world, in an imperfect system. Nothing is perfect, and certainly in Golus, in exile, nothing is perfect. What is healing? Healing is when you can transcend the system that allows you to repair everything that's broken in the system. Mashiach is associated with the number 8. The harp of King David, it says, had 7 strands. I'm not sure it was a harp, a lyre, whatever it was 7 strands. Mashiach's will have 8, because Mashiach represents the person who will usher in an age that transcends the system and therefore can repair all the breaches. So Chanukah has this tension between 7 and 8. On one hand, it's 7 days of a miracle, but we observe it 8, and we're trying to get rid of that tension that the 7 should finally end with a complete, uncompromising, unmitigating number 8. And that's why we're all asking the question, underlying the question, the way we phrase it as a legalistic question, is a deep-rooted desire for redemption. We're not satisfied with 7, we want 8.